And rising, grand rising.
Grand rising, Chief Sophia. How are you doing?
I'm surviving. Just barely hanging on. This is a lot of emotional energy out here, and it's very weird. That's all out. It's very weird. It's very weird. This whole
I mean,
thing.
yeah, definitely. Snake year came. I mean, that's February supposedly, right? Is the
Right.
beginning of the snake year, and I didn't feel anything crazy then. There was, it was like, okay, you wake up and it's like, okay, wow, yeah, awesome, Lunar New
Right.
Year, and you don't really feel shit. Obviously, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I felt something, I felt
No.
this, I felt that.
No.
This September 8th hit and shit just went boop. Oh, new year,
Right.
guys. New
Right.
energy. This is the
Right,
snake.
exactly. Like now, the snakes have to be exposed. Like it never occurred to me that that's what the snake year meant. So first, okay,
Oh.
first and foremost, today the sun was at this is the I'm sorry, the 12th of September 2025. Sun started the day at 19 degrees of Virgo in the tropical in Mount Shasta. It was at 25 degrees of Leo. We think that's where the Olympians headquarters is. This is the day 181 Kin family. This is the 22nd day of the galactic the galactic moon. This is the fourth day of our actual lunar mansion cycle. This is the 8th month still. This is the first day. It's Friday, of course. This is a 5-day marketplace. Week 20 on that cycle and a personal 7 day. So it is a lot of energy, and I always want to sink it in. So if any of these entities happen to tune in, they know when we're talking about. Covered all the bases.
Nice. I love it. Yes, that's it's like
Yeah,
ham
exactly.
radio. You gotta give the
The coordinates,
coordinates, you gotta
yes.
give the Echo Charlie Delta.
I should have
I
learned
love it.
that. Like, yes, this is very much in that thread of making sure everybody knows when and where you're talking about, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
That's what we're
right.
doing.
Mm,
But yeah, this
awesome. I love
energy
it.
is really crazy. I mean, this is only the fourth day of this lunar cycle, and it literally fell apart like day two. Like, okay, so think about this. Like, before we even go too far into the blueprint, think about this. We had a conversation on the 9th, and we were like, yeah, this snake energy is coming in, and these people ain't going to be ready. And this was the first day of the cycle. Day two, it wasn't less than 24 hours later, the whole country fell apart. Can you imagine? Do you know how many times this has happened to me in the last 3 years? Not once or twice either. Like hundreds of times I have said, oh, da 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 da. And the next thing I know, everything is falling apart. So now congratulations,
Wow.
you've been initiated into my world, because this happens all the time.
Yeah, it was like yeah, it's the new year, the lunar new year.
Literally day two, like lunar mansion two, like, because remember day one was 2 days, literally lunar mansion two, like we barely got into the new cycle before everything just like fell apart. So hold on, I got it open. I can read it to you. Lunar Mansion 2. Oh, you're gonna think this is fabulous. The spirit intelligence is named Emperor and it says this spirit intelligence is the second head of the moon sphere. He is responsible for controlling the rhythm in our physical world. This rhythm is produced by suitable intelligences of the zone girdling the earth in the world of causes at the will of this head. He teaches the magician the laws of biorhythm and periodicity, meaning how long something's supposed to last on our earth, and the use for romantic and spiritual purposes. The spiritualite learns that the 9 months of a woman's pregnancy has special relation to the Kabbalistic number 9, the number of the moon. Furthermore, a spiritualite will get from this head the exact details of the analogy of a women's menstruation to the moon, of periodicity, of polarity, and many other things. Was this not a clash of polarities? Like a
Yeah, it's
literal
literally like
clash of
I'm the
polarities.
right,
Yes.
I'm the left, I'm a man, I'm a woman. So like you saw the women, all they were crying, "Oh my gosh, I'm crying. I can't handle myself. I'm thinking of the wife and the kid and the blonde woman." And then the men were like, "Nazis,
Oh my
Germany,
gosh.
exterminate, like attack." But the thing is, you feel them and you're like, y'all both are full of shit. You guys are just, you guys are like trying to act how things used to be, which is just faking it. And it's like, we see right through it, guys. Y'all ain't gonna do, like, yes, you guys are gonna do stuff, but in the grand scheme of things, you guys ain't gonna, like, you guys are just fighting the wrong battles.
Right.
Like, you guys are just not aligned to what is actually real. You're just like, it's like the girls are trying to impress the guys and the guys are trying to impress the girls, and it's like, guys, like, you don't see what's going on?
Like I also think though from the emotional person, because I'm the emotional person. I actually I've been crying for like 2 days and I don't even like the dude. And it's not because I like him or don't like him. It's because you are not allowed to do blood sacrifice rituals on this land. That was a blood sacrifice ritual. If you remember in our conversation, because I went back and listened to it, I had mentioned in my thread as well for people to listen to 720 hertz frequency because that is for the throat chakra. This man got shot in the throat. Okay, so that was clearly a blood sacrifice trying to block our throat chakras. Like, I don't, number one, don't do blood sacrifices
You
on
know,
my land.
it's
Like, number one. Number two, I just said that. I literally said, listen to it. And I have been listening to the frequency every night, every night, every night. I had a really, really troubling like dream. And like it now it makes sense since they found the alleged guy. The dream makes sense. But it you don't do blood sacrifices like that. That's something they do on them lands over there, not on this land.
so the last few weeks I've begun to essentially like massage my jaw and neck
Mm,
area. Just intuitively, like I felt a lot of like my lymphatic
right.
system in that area has been congested for a while. And so I started to like massage it, and like I could feel that literally like the energy was either bringing up a detox, which would inflame it more, but also it was like beginning to start to circulate it.
Right.
And then must have been uh I think the day that he got sacrificed. I don't remember. I tweeted it, but so that day, like, or I guess the days leading up to it, like something was telling me, like start burping.
Oh,
Like
I
it was like
remember you
something was
saying
like
about.
trying
I
to
remember
like,
you saying something about that. I saw the tweets and I was like,
y-
okay, this is some. This is means something too.
yeah, there was some, like there was like for me it was like I don't burp because my perception of burping is that it's indecent. It's obviously in front of people now. I never really burped, at least tried burping consciously. And then something was pushing me to like start releasing it, start burping. And so I like as I was like massaging my neck, I like started to like purposefully start burping, and I could literally feel like I was like releasing stuff. It was like I was like detoxing like
Right.
spiritually, energetically, like stuff that had been stagnant in the throat chakra. So now I didn't make that connection until I tweeted it when something told me to tweet, burping clears the throat
Mm,
chakra. And then all of this happens,
crazy.
or at least I think that day of or something. And then, as you were saying, there's someone else that was people like if you search throat chakra, there are people saying there's an attempt for them to block our throat chakra.
Yeah.
There's a TikTok dance now that they're doing where like you're going up to the camera and it literally acts like you make a dance movement with your neck as if like Like if someone was to, like break
Oh
someone's neck,
my gosh.
like when they like turn their head, where like people's heads turn and then the neck breaks, that's literally some dance. They're doing
Yikes.
that dance on TikTok now.
Mm-mm-mm. Just rituals again.
So what is that? What's this neck chakra like? What is that about? The throat chakra, like what's
So
why are they doing that ritual? Like why is it so important right now?
so this ties into our thread here about the blueprint. Um I'm gonna go on a small rant just to get to that point because it's really important. So we know that this is the snake year. This is year 2025 to 2026. The snake in the story is day 13 of our lunar mansions. That's the energy that the snake is related to. However, the way it works is for every year, there's a bridge from the previous year to the next year. So the previous year to this was the sky dragon. But the sky dragon is day 16 as far as the lunar mansions are concerned. And so as a result, we have two bridges from the dragon to the snake. The first bridge is I'll talk about because it's a little bit better, and the second one will connect to what you asked. So the first bridge is day 15, lunar mansion 15, which is the crocodile, and the crocodile is called Geolong. It's actually a flood dragon. It's related to the energy of Jupiter, and it is a very lucky lunar mansion. Okay. um Geolong is a river god is because most of these bridge animals are females, while the actual um year animals are male energy. So just another way that they kind of like put down the feminine. So the leader, the crocodile is seen as a leader, and so it reminds me of the Titan Amphrite, who is related to Taurus. So that's one leader. The second one is the one that it ties to this whole throat chakra issue. So day 14 is called the lunar mansion 14. I'm sorry, I should say it like that. The spirit animal related to that is the worm, and the worm is related to Mercury, and they say it's lucky, but it's I don't think that's the case. This worm energy in the when I look for the mythology inside the Chinese or the Asian pantheon somewhere, I found something called the three corpses. And these three corpses, now mind you, I did this research 2 years ago. I totally forgot about it. So I had to really go and pull this out. The three corpses are supernatural parasites, and they live in the head, the chest, and the abdomen, and their purpose is to report the transgressions to the gods. So they report on day 57 out of the 60-day cycle for judgment. And so the way that you deal with these parasites is a fast. Specifically, they say fast from grains. And then I have my little parasite tea that I made that actually I didn't know that this is why, but it actually helps to make sure that this particular spiritual parasite is removed from your system. So they live in the chest, the head, and the abdomen. So the only way that you can defend yourself when these worms go to give the judgment is with your voice. What you say, what you do, what you physically say out of your mouth. That is why they attack the throat chakra, because we started our lunar cycle again on what was that day? Oh, come on, brain. Here we go. On the first day of the cycle technically was the 8th of September. So 57 days from the 8th of September is November the 3rd. Now, between November the 3rd and November the 7th. That's what I put in the thread. So November the 3rd, let's just do a little preview because this is probably important. November the 3rd is a Monday. It's day 20. It's in the 26th week of the year. It's a 2-day, but the 7th, that's the more interesting day. It's a Friday, which is the first day of the week. It's a 7-day, and it's a 6 personal day. But right in the middle of that, between the 3rd and the 7th, is the Taurus full moon. So basically, when the Taurus full moon comes, these 3 corpses are going to go back and report everything that everyone has done. So by silencing Charlie, he no longer has the voice to speak for himself. So that way, when it comes time for them to do this review and you can defend yourself with your voice by what you say, he no longer has the opportunity to apologize. He no longer has the opportunity to clarify. He no longer has the opportunity to disavow. They literally robbed him of his ability to defend himself. And that's what they were trying to do with all of us, because I have had really bad congestion. It's been really horrible. But remember, I told you I did a really okay, let me go back. In May, I started my we do a feast from May 16th until June 21st, the summer solstice, which they call it. And then after that, by that point, when June the 1st came, from June the 1st through till I think at least August the 1st, I ate nothing but meat. Like, I didn't eat no rice. I didn't have no sides, no grains, none of that. I literally ate nothing but meat for like the whole summer. And it was so weird because I didn't know why I was doing it. I knew we'd start, and then on the 2nd of August, we start our big fast. So I had, I do a little bit something different with that. But still, I really didn't eat any like grains until basically September. So I went 3 whole months with no grains. And I don't think I've ever done that. And I didn't even have a reason why. I just said, I'm just going to eat meat. I didn't know what it was about. So imagine my surprise again. And I had created this parasite. I call it security. And it's a parasite cleansing tea. And so, not that it will do a full parasite cleanse on you, but that it will protect you from these parasites. Now, I didn't know. I forgot all this stuff about the 3 corpses. Literally forgot it. But I was still working with this energy. So now, if people have not taken a break from the grains, now's the time to do so, because you have to rid yourself of these parasites. And you have to act like physically remove them. Like, there's no, I'm just going to like, take this one out. No. You need to get rid of them. I mean, people have the opportunity to do this every year, but just keep in mind, on day 57, when that Taurus full moon comes, they're going to go to the gods and lie on you. Because that's what they're called, corpses. They're not, we already talked about the parasites. They're not going up there to tell the truth. They're going up there to lie so they can get you in trouble, so that they can take over your body. So now Charlie don't have no opportunity to deal with this. And so who even knows what happens when you die before this point? Like, and I should mention this because I had a weird dream, and it was weird. And in the dream, I was talking with this guy. I didn't know who it was exactly, but I saw that he was really, really upset. And so I was like, you don't have to like I told him, I said, you don't really have to deal with this. Like, you can come with me. It's fine. Like, I'll just take you in. We'll just figure out, somewhere to put you. It's not a big deal. And what happened was, they look like women, but now I'm pretty sure they weren't women. And they had like these pictures that they were showing him, and he was just getting more and more and more upset. And I was like, they're not supposed to do this to you. Like, they can't do this to you. You should not allow them to do this to you. And so he was like in tears. I woke up like it was so emotional. And I was like, it's cool. You can just come with me. Like, don't worry about this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did I like help him cross over? Because now with all this information and the worms and all this stuff, it's like, holy smokes, how could you deal with this? Like, if somebody isn't helping you, like, how could you possibly deal with this? And it's like, I don't know. Like, it was that emotional. I think it was like 2 nights ago, because I haven't been able to sleep all night. And then the Schumann resonance has been basically like offline, because I realized it was so people don't know, 9/11 is the first day of creation. So we had the nativity of the Theotokos, which was like 2 days before 9/11, and then we had 9/11. So before the world was, she was like, duh. So all of the gods, like, I've been screaming and hollering, like, where are the gods at? Where are they at? Where are they at? They were on vacation because of the party you would have when a child is born, the party you would have for the first day of creation to commemorate that. So they were actually not, they were gone, they were on vacation. So I feel a little bit bad about screaming and yelling, because last night, okay, last part of this story, I had a candle burning for Poseidon, and I was so angry. I'm talking about, as mad, and I was like yelling and screaming at them like I always do. And the candle caught on fire. Like, how a candle can catch on fire, I don't know, but the candle caught on fire. It caught on fire so bad, the smoke alarm went off, which they say black folks don't have any smoke alarms, but in this house, they all work. The smoke alarm went off. I had to go and find something to put the fire out, because it was beside my bed, and then fan the smoke away, because literally the smoke alarm went off in the middle of the night. And I was like, okay, I guess he heard me. Maybe I should like tone it down just a little bit, because something is going on. And right at that time, the Schumann resonance started this huge spike. It's like this huge influx of energy, and it hasn't stopped yet. And it's like, basically, like, this energy is back online. So another thing about this is they timed this, right? They timed this perfectly when they knew the gods would not be around to defend him. Because the question that we asked was, who allowed this? We know the spirit realm is, who allowed this? Who approved this sacrifice on this land? And we know it was nobody approved it. They waited till everybody was on vacation and, participating in the festivities around the creation of the earth, Gaia's birthday. And what do? They do this ritual. So a lot of people about to be in trouble for this. This is not no little like thing. A lot of people about to be in trouble. A lot of entities are going to have to face a very serious cause for what they have done. This is not no small thing.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not small considering how the public reacted to it, but I
Right.
still don't I don't understand, um like, now I know Charlie is really a conduit to kind of, I guess, the energy or the larger thing at hand, but like, what there, I mean, this is desperation. Like, this is really just like
Oh yeah.
almost like a Hail Mary
Yeah. Oh,
type of thing.
not almost. It was a Hail Mary. You do not wait until all the gods go on Now, okay, let me put it this way. Remember last time I was crying? I was crying about a lot of stuff. But I was crying because I was like, we know where the 12 mountains is, the volcanoes. We gotta go there for our Day of Atonement and all of that. And I was like, I still don't have the money to go. This is awful and all that stuff. So I was like, okay. My friend and I were looking at, like, we went into Deuteronomy to see, okay, what do you do when someone like this? Because Charlie was representing the high priest. Like we said, there are no priests, there are no kings. Well, technically, no,
Oh,
but he
yeah,
was
okay, right.
representing the priesthood. He was representing the priesthood. So when Aaron and Moses died, one of the rules is you have to mourn for 30 days. So that 30 days covers the Day of Atonement,
Oh,
the
wow.
the Feast of Booths, all of that. So that's why the money wasn't here, because we're gonna have to go to this feast to we have to mourn. Like we have to take 30 days and more. Cause like I wasn't even upset about any of this stuff until yesterday. It was yesterday that I was really like, okay, this is not right. Like when I found out the kids, I was like, no, no, there's no way we would have allowed. And another thing about this that we pointed out is this feel like it really happened. Like a thing, like all the other, like the George Floyd and all this stuff, it don't feel real. Like this feels real. Like it really happened.
Yeah, that
Now,
video
once
was
it's,
crazy.
I didn't watch it. I couldn't,
Oh my,
I
it's
can't,
good. It's good you
I
didn't.
can't
It
sleep at
is
night. I can't,
it
I
I
already
was
can't
just
sleep.
like, holy shit.
It's
And
awful.
and
It's
and again,
awful.
as you said, like the throat chakra, it was like a huge fucking boom.
Right.
Um
Terrible. Terrible. So yeah, he is standing in for the priests. For the priests. And so
wow.
that's
Well,
the
and it's
reason why
interesting
it's like
because
this.
Glenn Beck today said that he's not a like he's not like a, I don't know, some like conservative speaker. He's a civil rights. He's a civil rights. I think he called
I
him a
thought that was
civil
I think that's
rights leader or
accurate.
something.
Yeah, I think that's fairly accurate based on what he was doing. The black community has been celebrating. That's another thing that really broke my heart. These people is throwing stuff on the grill. They're smoking that Charlie pack. They got shirts and all. I'm really, really disappointed in their behavior because you cannot celebrate murder. Like you can't do that. There's no space for that in this country. So I've been really upset about that. But we decided, or we identified his situation as being very similar to Malcolm X. Like how, not Martin, they were like, oh, he's like Martin. No, he's a lot more like Malcolm X than Martin. And of course all the black people are gonna be, I don't care. Like just in advance, before, save your mean tweets or comments. I don't care. Like I literally don't care. Because he was like the youth whisperer. Like, okay, so peep this too. On Friday, I started seeing a story. I saw a story that said Barron was going to move into the White House. And I was like, he goes to college. Why is he moving into the White House? That's weird. So they knew something was percolating in the energy.
Wow,
Like
right.
they knew something was percolating in the energy, but they weren't sure exactly what. So yeah, I saw that
So
and
that
I saw
that they're scared. Is that what you
I
like?
wouldn't. I think that Melania is probably. Well, I've always thought that she probably was some kind of a clairvoyant or something like that. Especially being from that area, a lot of clairvoyants from there. I think she just pulled the plug on his little being an adult thing and was like, "Okay, that's cute. You want to be an adult? Now you got to come back." Like, no, I'm not gonna. She might not have known exactly what was going to happen, but often the women get they get the word first, you know what I mean? Like they get the intuition, because again, the bridge, like I was just mentioning with this snake year, the bridge is almost always a feminine energy. Like whatever the bridge animal is a feminine energy. So the women tend to get like Pontius Pilate's wife. Her name is Procla. She warned Pontius Pilate about getting involved with the Jews and Jesus and that whole thing. Like she said, she had a dream that terrified her, and she told Pontius,
Wow.
"Don't get involved with them Jews and what they got going on." So the
And he was the
women
Roman,
often will
right? He
get the
was a Roman?
feeling. Yeah, he was a Roman. Yeah, he was a
Mm.
Roman. He shouldn't have gotten involved with those Jews, because they wouldn't even come into his court because it was the Sabbath and they were trying to keep their Sabbath. Like the whole, anyway, that's a
And you said
the more you read Jesus'
the
story.
bridge to the spiritual.
Well, no, the bridge from year to year. So like
Oh,
the
okay.
man is like the year, like the physical representation of the year. They're the ones that typically, the male energy is the one that makes the decision. But the women are the ones who go between the realms,
Mm.
right? Like the bridge, and they will take the energy that they got from the spirit realm, specifically related to year 6, because remember, the dragon is a sky dragon. It is the gatekeeper from the heavenly realm. So you have the crocodile energy, which I mentioned is related to Amphrite, which is a Taurus energy, which is the bull that is trying to relay to people what is coming. Like I said, I even had a dream. It's been a lot of crazy stuff, but we didn't know what side of the horse we're looking at. But now we're like, oh, it's a horse. Like, but last week I couldn't. There's no way I would have been able to put this together. I didn't even know this stuff was related until like today.
So, in women being the bridge, like this transitionary period, I guess, the month before, the month after, let's say this new year, like in knowing that women are the bridge, like I guess I'm thinking about like in the future, especially for like this empire, like how do we revere women? How do we support them? How do we how, maybe that's a topic for another day, but I think that would be interesting to really explore in this bridge thing.
Well, it fits into this little bit because you're thinking in terms of months, but technically, when I think of a bridge, I'm thinking in terms of energy. So okay, this is a unique experience. Obviously, you've never given birth, but when you give birth, from the time that you go into labor until the time you deliver the actual child, like someone is always by you, like tending to you. So don't look at it in terms of the bridge is only here for a month and then the bridge leaves. That's not the way it works. The bridge is with you until you give birth. Once you give birth, the new year is born, then the bridge sticks around, make sure everything is rolling the way it's supposed to, and then the bridge moves on. So, for example, in this case, we have the specific example of the 3 corpses that stay 60 days into the year until they go to report back to you. So these next 60 days, the things people say out of their mouth for the next 60 days is what is going to be taken to whoever is in the judgment seat this year, which I don't know, I haven't gotten into that research, but whoever's in the judgment seat, these 3 corpses are going to take your words to the judgment seat so that they can decide how many days to deduct from your life. That's what the 3 corpses do. And they're taking it from your head, your heart, and your abdomen. So what you
Wow,
think in your head, like
right,
think about this.
right.
What you think in your head, you can verbally say
Oh,
out loud, yeah, I
fuck.
don't agree with that. That's stupid. Why would I do that? Like if your mind is like, yeah, you should take yourself out. You could be like, no, I shouldn't. I deserve to be here just like anybody else. No. If you feel like you get that gut feeling like, yeah, I should just slit my wrist, your voice can say, I'm not doing that. Are you guys crazy? Who voted for this? I didn't vote for this. I'm not doing it. Like you can verbally, like even your heart can be like, oh, F those white people. Hey, we don't say that. Everyone deserves to live. Your voice is what can actually save you from what your mind and your
Mm.
heart and your abdomen is putting out there as what's supposed to be, quote unquote, your energy, but
Oh,
it's not your
yeah,
energy.
right, right. The throat
What you
chakra.
speak is what's real. Yes, the throat chakra. What you
Mm.
speak is what's really real. If you don't speak it out of
Mm.
your mouth, then it ain't real. Like
Oh,
this is why I've been
shit.
saying to people,
Yo,
like your words are your wand. So if you
Right,
speak it
right.
out, then that's what's real. That's why it's like so hard. They've been listen. Last time we was talking about the Ukrainian lady, and what did I say? I was like, look, I don't have a problem with any of what they got going on, but it just doesn't pass the smell test. So
Yeah.
I can't put no energy to it because I don't believe. It's not that I don't feel for that. I said that I don't. It's not that I feel bad. I'm not gonna. But the whole situation doesn't seem right. So I'm gonna like withdraw my judgment and just say it just doesn't seem right, and I don't have to be involved in that. Those was words I said out of my mouth. So with this Charlie thing, with all the people, all the crazy liberals saying, yeah, he deserved it and all this stuff, they are literally, oh, check a day off, another day, another day. Look at these people who have been nothing but celebrating, retweeting, reposting this stuff for 24, 48, 72 hours. You know how many days they're taking off their life? It's not me. I didn't do it. Hey, I just read you some words off a piece of paper. We'll see in 60 days how. And then what these people wonder why they dying so young, massive cancers and all this stuff. Hey, these 3 corpses took your words. This happens every year 6 out of 12. Every year 6 out of 12. This year. So you want to know why this year specifically? This is why. Because this happens this year. It don't happen any other year. You can say whatever you want every other year. This year you can't. Especially not these next 60 days. So I'm glad we're going to be talking about
Every
the
6
blueprint
years, you
because
said, right?
every 6th year, year 6, not
Okay.
every 6 years,
Okay.
every year 6. It's now I'm starting, as the more I research this, the more I'm understanding how they do their calculations, because there's always 12 years. Like everything is 12 years, but they only talk about certain years. So when they say on the 6th year, they mean year 6. They don't mean 6 years from when something happened. They mean year 6. It's really complicated. Like the more detailed I get into this, the more complicated it gets. But yeah, every year 6. So every horse year, is this a horse year? No, every snake year, every snake year, these worms come and do this judging.
You know, it's I mean, wow, it makes complete sense, and it's crazy because like what I have been pushed to do since the start of this year, since September 8th, like they're putting a lot on me. The energy, like the gods, like they're
Yeah.
putting a lot on me, and um and at the same time, I've been speaking more this past week than I have in months. I'm doing a spaces basically every single day, talking for at least an hour and a half.
Wow.
So my throat chakra is on. Like it's like I can't go a day now, and it's the reason why I started to do spaces again with the consistency that I'm doing currently is because they cut the grass where at the park that I do my running. I was doing my toe running and toe jogging all summer long. They cut the grass to turn it into hay, and that hay is really really rough. Like it's really it's you
Oh,
know that really thick dry hay grass.
yeah.
It's not good for me to be running barefoot or jogging barefoot on that type of surface until it kind of clears away. So
Right.
I still feel called to go out there. Like I'm used to going to the park. So then I ended up walking again. I went from running and jogging all summer long to now walking again. And when I walk, I feel called to talk.
Mm.
And I'm so used to walking and talking. Like right now, usually when we do our spaces, I'm pacing back and forth. Pace like
Mm.
it's very difficult for me to just sit still when I'm talking because something about like I'm just so used to walking and talking. So
Right.
when I'm out there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, like it's a great excuse for me to do this to do a space. So it's interesting that so like I don't want to go too deep into my stuff because obviously we have better topics to talk about. But like all I'm gonna say is like they are really putting a lot of weight on me to I guess look bad, but I'm not like it's more of like it's like the difficulty has really intensified on me to look bad, but instead of looking bad, I'm just mastering it. Like I'm just making it my bitch. I'm just dominating
So it's not just
what they're
so
throwing at
so it's
me.
not just you. So let's back up a little bit. if somebody is trying to take, if an energy is trying to take you out of your natural character, let's just assume that it's not a good energy, because the positive oriented energies, they don't work like that. So let me just say that for one. For two, it's not just you, it's you're like the fourth or fifth person I've heard say that exact thing today. Like, this is what, like, I was watching a tarot reader. She had a picture. She said some random person sent her a picture of her mugshot from 10 years ago. Like, this is what these people are doing. So no, this is we took control of the matrix energetically, those people who are energetically aligned, and this is the matrix flexing back, like trying to say, yeah, you're not worthy, because the only, again, it's your throat chakra. The only one who can curse you out of your abundance, out of your blessing, out of what you deserve is you. They can't curse you. They have no power to curse you. Imagine these people with the power to curse somebody. They don't have that. Therefore, you are the only one who can do it for yourself. So if they can get you to say, like, for example, like just what you're talking about, this a weird thing happened to me today too. I get paid today, and I don't care about these people money. I say that every day. I don't care about their money. I don't want their money. I take it because they have to give it to me, because I'm not a slave. So that's my literal thought process of it. I take the money because they have to give it to me, because I'm not a slave. Well, they just decide, let's pull $300 from her check so she won't get it. No explanation, no excuse, no nothing. Just didn't pay me. So I was like, okay. So I noticed that this morning too. So I was really mad. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything today, right? Because I talked to my supervisor yesterday, and she had basically given me the heads up that something was going to be funny with my money. So I was like, okay, I'm just not going to, hey, I'm not going to bring this up. And so I'm so emotional over this Charlie stuff, and just doing a blood sacrifice on my land. Like, I'm angry and I'm crying. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not talking to these people today. Like, I just can't do it. Like, not the day to do that, what needs to be done. So I chose to not use my throat chakra. So, because for the last 3 years, I make videos almost every single day. I talk for hours and hours on end. I got videos about things that are so obscure that to this moment, no one knows what I'm talking about. Like, that's the kind of person I am. So I was like, I have nothing to say to these people. I'm just going to stay out the way. And that's what I've been doing all week. I've been saying, out of the way of these people, out of the way of their energy, because I can feel energetically that something isn't right. Now, I know what it is that's not right, is these people don't know how to manage money, but I can feel that something is not right. So I had told my supervisor yesterday, today, and I'll tell her any day she want to listen. I'm not working for free. I'm not a slave. We don't do slavery around these parts, okay? So I don't know what these people going to do, but I am prepared to completely walk away from this whole situation come Monday or whatever, because I'm not going to be dealing with this. So that was my usually I would not be able to contain myself of needing to say all of this stuff. But this today, which never happens, I was just in such mourning that I was like, I can't say anything today. I need to mind my business, is what I need to do, and hope that I can even make it through the day without busting out into tears. So I didn't say anything. I said stuff to people who I knew like cared about me, but I didn't say anything to anyone else. I didn't even open my mouth. I just minded my business all day. So I had the exact opposite experience. Like, I have not made hardly any videos. I'm like, I need to make some. I just can't bring myself to do it. I made a video yesterday. I'm glad I didn't post it, because now I'm way more emotional now than I was when I made the video yesterday. So I'm like, I don't need to say anything. I'll just wait until I have this talk with you, and then I'll post that, because I don't even have words anymore for what I'm seeing. So yeah, it depends on how you normally use your throat chakra, how your throat chakra would be attacked. So for somebody like Charlie, who he always was out on the road, they just started a tour and doing all this talking and stuff like that, they would attack it in public. But for someone like me who's already in the public, they would try to make me say something in private that I would never say in public. Anyway, some bad words that I shouldn't be saying to people who are professionals in general. That's what they try to do with me. So with you, it's like trying to get you to, you know, do stuff like that's outside of your character, or believe things about yourself that's outside of your character. So that's what I would call a high level spiritual attack, because there's been no less than 4 people I've heard talk about this, and not including my own experience.
So today I also got have you ever watched the show That's So Raven?
Yeah, yeah.
I got a future flashback. For the first time ever. Like, I was able to look into the future like a few days in a few days ahead of me, like a flashback type of situation. Like, I literally felt like That's So Raven. Have never experienced that. And then a few months ago, actually about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I was talking about gaining perfect prescience and how I was doing the work to be able to receive the ability to see the past, present, and future. I forgot about that. Yeah, I completely for that just lot like as you said, you do all this research and it just
Right.
escapes you. And when I was doing a spaces today, I started talking. It was really mostly focused on about how to uh, maneuver reality, live reality in a way where you are following what the Lord tells you to do, essentially.
Right.
How to react, how to move, what to do next, this, that. And I was going down into the importance of what you're really doing is you're learning to move intuitively.
Right.
You're not thinking about what you're going to do. You just do as you are compelled and as you are told to do. And then I was thinking about, I don't know, something came up with Dune the movie, which is what Frank Herbert, the one who wrote Dune, he talked about gaining perfect prescience from from drinking the water of life. The water of life is the venom of, guess what?
A snake.
The worm.
Oh, the worm.
The worm. It's the dust worm, or so when you mentioned these parasites, I was like, wait a minute, I think there's a connection here.
If
Let me
he's
see.
talking about drinking the water of life, I can almost guarantee you it's not
Sandworm. It's a sandworm.
it's not a positive thing. When they do stuff, right? I should mention, whenever they do stuff, like when they put stuff out there, it's probably something you shouldn't do, because they're doing it for a specific God, right? And I always say this about everybody. If somebody is not living the kind of life you want to live, please don't do what they do. Like, really living, like in their personal lives, they're doing X, Y, and Z. They have us following after these celebrities, and these celebrities don't live the lives that they're actually putting out there. They're liars. And so they want you to do certain things that they don't do themselves. Like, all the rug pulls with the coins, and, products and stuff they don't use, and all that kind of stuff. They're not really doing that stuff. And so if you try to live their life, they are in fact stealing your life force. So, because I've heard of venom before, like snake venom. I know I used to follow some people that like were really into that. That whole thing of using it as a holistic medicine, shamanistic, and all that stuff. And so, I never heard of worm venom, but that, based on the fact that these 3 corpses, it can't be life if they're corpses. Like, you know what I mean? Like, one thing I do know about these movie types, though, is that they do go to the other realms and observe what's going on and take that information back for to write their movies and stuff like that. I know that for a fact. Oh, I should also mention that past, present, future thing that you tapped into, that's a manifester thing. So you're like developing now your manifester skills, which is fabulous. My friend that's a manifester, she does that all the time. We don't know what to call them because she's like, I had one of those things and I could see, she could literally see like three scenes like in front of her, and then there's somebody behind her like telling her like, look here, look there, look here, like to kind of see the whole big picture. So yeah, that's a manifestor thing. So congratulations, that's a very scary power to have because you can't really control that.
No, no, you can't. And it was only today. Like that was the first time I've ever really
Yeah,
had
what
it. Obviously, I've had deja vu and stuff, but
nah, this is
like,
different.
yeah, I literally saw, and it was almost like, well, you can, like, you could change how you're gonna act because it was like for the next week,
Right.
something in the next week. But so it's called the water of life. It's in Dune, and they take the bile of a young sandworm, and essentially that bile is then consumed by the sisters of the Bene Gesserit, which is like this kind of cult female led
Right.
group that have these like superpowers, and in receiving that, um, they it amplifies their awareness to the point where they can unlock their genetic memory along with secrets of the sisterhood. Now, what called me out was one in the last spaces that I just did, which was literally like an hour before ours. It just came about. I wasn't even thinking about it. I've completely forgotten about it. This 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 water of life, if a man consumes it, which they says that no man has been able to survive this consuming of the water of life. It's only for women.
Mm.
Um, the the main character, Paul Atreides, ends up taking a droplet of the water of life. Ends up being able to basically process that bile, although he went into a coma for, I don't know, it must have been like a while. And then he came out, and when he came out, he had gained perfect prescience, which was the
Mm.
ability to be able to see the past, present, and future. So that came up in the last spaces, and I had been talking about perfect prescience and me doing the work to gain this perfect prescience. And today was the day where I began to see that. I literally got that like ability to see into the future. So when you mentioned worm energy, this water of life is from a sandworm.
Right.
I think there is something there that is going on in terms of like I think something is going to happen with the next 60 days where, like, these corpses, or this corpse, right? Yeah, corpses,
Yeah,
they're in
three.
our body right now. They're in our
Yeah.
body, I guess, really heavily for the next you said 3 months?
Two
No, 2
months.
months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 months.
Um I think we're going through this water of life. I think all of us are going through this
Yeah,
water
we
of
can.
life.
You can be. They can be removed, but the whole thing is they're not going to be removed without action. So everybody will be called to take their own specific action. I just thought it was crazy that for the very first time I called a parasite cleanse, and this is again. I wasn't looking at this. I called a parasite cleanse in August for people to do a parasite cleanse. Like, do a parasite cleanse, do a parasite cleanse. I made a tea. Like, the fact that I was like, again, way in advance called to do a clearing, get rid of these things for myself, because they gone for me. Because when I finished my 30 day, because like I said, I did 60 days where I just basically ate nothing but meat and like tomatoes and mozzarella cheese, and I think that's all. Like literally for like no grains at all for like 30 days, like 60 days. And then the last 30 days, when the fast started, I had that parasite tea that I told you I made. I drank that for 30 days. I was also taking 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds a day, because if you take 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds every day for 30 days, it will also kill all the parasites in your body and all the eggs. So I had done that, but I only did it for like 29 days. And then on day 30, like by day 28, my body was like, okay, you're done. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I should keep doing it. And they were like, no, you're done. You're done. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to keep drinking my tea. So I finished my tea out for the 30 days. So I don't have these things in me. Like, I don't have these things in me. And so maybe that's why that energy couldn't get me to feel bad about myself. Not that it didn't try, but you have nothing to show me from the past because that person don't even exist. Like this timeline does not contain that person who they're trying to get me to believe from a previous timeline. I'm not even that same person. I'm a totally different person. And so you can't bring that kind of stuff up to me and have me react in any kind of way because I don't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I had
Right.
also already done this thing prior to the start of this snake year to remove these worms. Because remember, it's a fluctuation of time. Like I didn't know that's what it was. And then I stayed home all summer because another thing was I didn't even work all summer. So I'm like, I'm not working. I'm in the house taking notes, doing this like stuff. And I'm like, what does this even have to do? Like, why am I even doing this? Like, shouldn't I be working? Shouldn't I be worried? Shouldn't I? And I was like, nah, I'm not doing nothing. I went to the beach like every day. Like, that was my life this summer. And I've never done that. I've never just said, yeah, I'm going to stay home all summer and do nothing but cook myself amazing meals every day and eat healthy and, that kind of stuff. I've never done that before. Never, ever. And so I couldn't figure out what any of this had to do with anything. But now with this the whole concept of the bridge between the years and how the energy is supposed to be. Okay, so let me go on to the next one because I just wanted to do an overview at least so people could know. Like, so for next year is a year of the horse. That's year 7. It's the sun and it's neutral. It's the 11th lunar mansion. The horse, in the mythology, is called Kian Lima, and it's a white horse that travels 1,000 miles in a day. It's exceptionally Kian Lima. That word means like exceptionally talented. And it's a word for people with talent and ability. Also, a wise ruler and selecting talented officials. Like that's what that Kian Lima, that's what that is for. So when we were talking last week or last time about the horse energy just flying, we're not just talking about the horse energy flying. We're talking about an animal, a magical animal that can go 1,000 miles in a day. So imagine how much spiritual coverage can be made when we tap into this Kian Lima energy. So the bridge for that year is the deer. Now, the deer is related to the moon, it's a lucky number, and it's the 12th lunar mansion. Now, there's 2 different deer. There's a deer that's this year, and then for the next year, there's a male horse. But the deer is a female, but the stag is a male. So there's a legend of the hen, which is a large female doe. She's the bringer of news from the creator. And so we have a female side of that story and a male side of that story, but I don't want to get too far into that because it's complicated. So for 2027 to 2028, that's the year of the goat, not the sheep. It's year 8. It's ruled by Venus and it's unlucky. And I would say that year that's ruled by the goat is actually going to be a very unfortunate year for a lot of people because the bridge animals are male. So in year 7, the bridge animals are female. In year 8, the bridge animals are male. So always this whole concept of the 8 and 8 being a good number and all this stuff, I feel it's propaganda because 8 is the end of a cycle. Like 8 is like the end because the first number is 9. So people think that 8 is before 9. It is, but it's only before 9 because it's the end. Like it's where you dump all your excess whatever is left. Like, it's not necessarily a good number in general. So,
Yeah, it's
and
like when
that,
where the healing
like I said,
works. The 8 is like where the healing works. So if
yeah,
you're not up to ready for the healing, yeah, it's gonna really suck. If you're in the healing, then it's
yeah,
gonna be, uplifting, like you're gonna really heal.
right. And
Which
because it's Saturn energy,
we saw that all this past year. We did the work in the
right.
8 year, and it's showing now in this 9. Whereas all these people didn't do the work in the 8 year, and look at what, like, basically the fruits of their labor.
Right. Because this year is the 6 years ruled by Mars and it's unlucky. And so it's naturally going to be an unlucky year if you haven't done anything. But if you are working with the bridge, then you can kind of turn it into a lucky year. Again, the only reason we'll be lucky with these 3 corpses is because this is the year you can get rid of them. And there's no other year in the cycle where you can actually remove these entities from your body. That's not in none of the lore. That's my assessment because it's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only time this energy shows up like this is in this snake year. So, in 2027, 2028, with the goat year, because it's a male energy, which is the goat, and the stag energy, which is a male, and the stag energy is ruled by Saturn. So you got a Saturn Venus cycle. And so in astrology, if you know anything like about Saturn and Venus do not go together. Like, they don't go together at all. And so this is not like going to be favorable for a lot of people when we get to 2027 and into 2028. I can tell you the name of the goat. The goat the spirit animal that's related to the goat year is she, and it can judge right from wrong, and it will ram corrupt officials with its horn. It can judge guilty or innocence, and I don't know what I thought that saw. Law officials wore the goat on their head, on their hat, as a sign. And whenever they're referring to the goat energy, they're literally talking about real animals. It's not like with the other animals that aren't like physical. Like, this is when you get into the year of the goat, they're bringing out an actual goat. Like, it's not like a fake um or anything like that. The goat is peace loving and gentle, but if you're a corrupt official, you're getting rammed. So imagine that's an election year. Like, these people not ready for this. That's an election year. 2020. I mean, this is the election is right at the beginning of our 2027 year. So if these is not getting in order, the ram or the goat is going to come in year 8 and literally ram these people out who are not being honest. So I wouldn't be too worried about 2028 for people who have, political stuff. I wouldn't be worried about it. So in 2028 into 2029, that's the monkey year, and that's year 9. It's also ruled by Mars, and it's also unlucky. Now, the difference between this uh bridge year is that both of the bridge animals are both males. So the first bridge animal is the 8. That's related to the 7th lunar mansion, and he's related to Mercury, and he's unlucky. And there's also Baku, which is a tapir, which is another kind of monkey, and that's related to Lunar Mansion 8, but he's related to Jupiter, and I think he's neutral in this form. And so the tapir, I think I talked about this one time, is named Baku, and Baku is a dream devourer. So what happens is if you have kids, you can put a picture or stuffy with Baku in the kids' room, and basically you could tell the kid if they have any bad dreams, give the bad dreams to Baku, and Baku go into the dream realm and handle business. So that just is a little concerning. Um, as far as the ape is concerned, which is really specifically a gibbon, gibbons are able to move swiftly through the trees, representing agility, intelligence, and communication. So we're going to have a dream devourer and a swift ape that's assisting us through as the bridge, assisting us through the monkey year when it comes. But remember, the monkey is unlucky. And specifically, this monkey is related to Sun Wukong, which I have railed and railed about. I'm not going to rail and rail about Sun Wukong right now, but there's technically 4 celestial monkeys all together. When I do the thread, we'll talk about it a little bit more. So 2028 into 2029 is definitely going to be the last like little bit of Sun Wukong chaos. Like we will have him thoroughly cornered by then, because he's not a good entity. He got to be, we need the Hanuman version. Hanuman is basically like the Indian version of Sun Wukong. Please don't get on me about making my own stuff up, but that's just the way I see it. I did a lot of work with Hanuman, and I was like, okay, so clearly Hanuman and Sun Wukong have all the same powers. So why is it that we got to deal with Hanuman? We can really deal with Sun Wukong. So to me, Hanuman is the positive version. They call him a six-eared Mackay. That's one of the that's like one of the 4 celestial monkeys that actually is contained between heaven and earth. So these are like intercessor. So I've been telling people to listen to Hanuman mantras. Hanuman is our guy. Sun Wukong is not our guy. So that's the blueprint for the next, like the whole 4 years. We just have to break it down, like I said, or like we've been doing in this session with the first year, on how we're actually supposed to use that energy. Because there's no, again, there is no blueprint. I listened to Jay-Z's album, The Blueprint, this morning. I was severely disappointed because I thought, okay, I'm going to get some ideas. I'm going to get some insight. I'm going to have something good to say. And that actually failed. That's why my thread was so boring, because I thought I was going to get like the blueprint, and I just realized that he can't give me no blueprint, because he don't even have the blueprint. He don't have it, so he don't have it to give. And that's the reason why,
Yeah,
my
he
thread was
waiting for you. He waiting for you
right,
to
right. He's
provide the
waiting for me to
blueprint.
come out again, but you got to come to the toll booth. See, you got to come and listen to
Uh-huh,
these
right?
live streams. I'm not just going to write it out for you and hand
Oh,
it
best
over.
believe, and
No, you
especially
got to
the
come and listen.
well, and especially the people that, even those listening and that will be listening, like the energy is going to force them to come to
Right,
you and give you your flowers physically, like in person. No more about this, like, taking your energy, taking your value, taking your insights and just running off with it. Because like the way that this all works, and that's why everyone's freaking out, is like the days where you just like would take people's things and then just act it as if it was yours or yourself, like um that person is continuing to do the work while all these
right,
other people are just like trying to like they're just taking all these random ass bits and pieces to make themselves seem knowledgeable, to make themselves
right,
seem like they know what they're doing. But like time keeps ticking. And what,
right.
like, how are you going to keep dealing with what is coming and what is happening in the present moment? Yeah, you gotta go to Chief Sophia. That's just how it is. And obviously, the more that time has accrued, the more that that kind of karma has increased, they're gonna have to really come with like really heavy bags of literal as well as energetic gold.
Well, yeah, this once I really feel like once this 60 days comes and we see the result of these 3 corpses, right? We see the physical result of that. I feel like it's not going to be denied. Like you're not going to be able to deny that what I'm saying is accurate. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
up to that point, because the last time this happened was what? Let's see. 12 years ago, I guess. So what was that? I don't know. I don't even can't even do math. What is
13,
that?
2013.
2013?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It seemed like forever ago.
Right. That
That seems like,
was
yeah, 2013. So in 2013, the world was a very different place. The world was not as it is right now. 2013, that's crazy that it was 2013, because that means it was right after that 2012 portal when people thought that the world was going to end, because the Mayan calendar, quote unquote, ended, and nobody understands how anything works. And it's like, no, that's not what happened. You don't understand it. Like, they don't understand the Mayan calendar. So they thought it ended in 2012 when it really ended in 2005. These people are way behind. Like, they don't understand how, because I told you, I calculated the Mayan calendar all the way back to the start of this country. Like I got the actual physical notes, like, of how the cycles work, including the Julian dates. Like, you can't mess with me. Like, I got this thing down pat. You know what I mean? And so what's going to happen is, when these worms come and they because they're going to take days off your life. Like, imagine this. You have 3 witnesses right now against you. And why the number 3? Because how many scribes was following Jesus? It was always 3. It was always 3 scribes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, spies. I'm sorry, scribes. Spies. They were scribes, but they were really spies from the other side. It was always 3. And that is literally who was watching Jesus, because they had to have witness by 3 in order to convict. That's why they always had 3 watching. That's why they got 3 worms. They have to have 3 witnesses in order to convict. And that's what that's what they're going to do to a lot of people. Because this Charlie Kirk thing is one thing. Listen, who knows what they're going to try between now and 60 days from now? Because they're trying to get people to incriminate themselves.
Yeah,
because remember, the
right,
whole
right.
point of the people who are against us taking over is that they know better. They're better than us. We don't know what we're talking about. We're going to F it all up. And so they need to be in control of humanity, because humanity can't be in control of themselves. BS. BS.
Yeah, right.
But what they will do is try to get people to say out of their mouth, we want a king. We need a king. But we're not saying that. We're like, nah, we can work with the creator directly. He gave us a calendar. Like, before, people, that he didn't have a calendar that they could work off of that made any sense. Now we've got structure. We don't need a king. I don't need a king. I can work off the calendar. The king can't explain this calendar to me. Period. Point blank, end of story. Neither can a priest. Can't explain it to me. And so I don't need a king. I don't need a priest. But that's what they want us to do. They want us to say, oh, Charlie Kirk is dead. Look, I'm burping. I never burp. Charlie Kirk is dead. We need a new priest. No, we don't. Let his seat remain empty and just remember his work and work in his honor. His seat don't need to be filled. Why do you think Shapiro is running to say, we're going to take over TPUSA? What? You're going to burn it to the ground is what you're going to do. No one's going to follow you. Sorry, it's not right. Like, the man isn't even buried
He's
in the
trying to be the
ground yet.
priest, because he literally said, like, oh, I'm gonna go to colleges, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Sure. He gonna get
He's
laughed
literally
out because
trying.
somebody's
He's
gonna ask
literally
him,
trying to take
about
the
why.
priest.
Yeah, all they have to do is ask him, "What's your bloodline?" Don't let some Hebrew Israelites get in there. He's gonna be mad because they're gonna be quoting Deuteronomy 28 to him, and he's not gonna be able to explain it. And they gonna be like, "So how are you a real Jew if you can't tell me about Deuteronomy 28?" Because that's what they be saying out on these street corners, loud and nuts. So yeah, he don't want to do that because he don't want to talk to these people who could quote the Bible, especially the Old Testament, all around him. Like, they don't want that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay, so you said 2028, 2029. So 2027, 2028 is the monkey year, right? Or am I
Yes,
reading
27.
these wrong?
Yes. No.
Okay.
2027, 2028 is the goat year. So that's year
Okay.
8.
So
Yeah, it's
2028, 2029 is the monkey.
the monkey. Yes, it's number 4. Yeah, year 6 technically. Well, it's Lunar Mansion 6. I'm sorry, I say this backwards. It's Lunar Mansion 6 because my Lunar Mansion is going reverse order than the years. I don't even know how I put this infographic together because couldn't nobody understand it but me. The more I look at it, I'm like, who could even understand this? This thing got
Yeah,
way too
only
much
you, of
information on it.
course, only
Yeah,
you.
nobody else could. I made it for
That's the
myself
point.
because you could look at it and be like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. Like, so yeah, they kind of go in
Well, and
reverse order.
that's what's interesting is like it's yeah, it's the system saying I know better while they're losing just I mean they're getting I mean every time we have a talk again, it's like they're getting more desperate. They're
They
getting more
are.
desperate. They're getting more it's like and it keeps increasing in terms of like the levels of desperation that they're
Yeah.
undergoing. And then you know, we just spoke about like all these people basically just trying to take like trying to almost destiny swap, like trying to take
Yeah.
the powers that we have very you know, we've worked our asses off and we've sacrificed so much to receive. And then as you were saying with like, you know, the notes that you took and the calendar that only you could understand it, that's the point. That's what's
Right.
happening is as we're seeing reality become extremely chaotic, the people that we're trying to take from those that have done the work, from those that are aligned, to try to be the usurpers, to try to be the priest, as you said with like with Charlie Kirk, like to try to take the positions that are, I guess, are available or open and in all these different ways, they don't they can't understand it. Like
No.
they don't know how it is done. And because they don't know how it is done, like they just get taken for a ride by the same distractions that the system is pushing, because the system right now is very heavily trying to regain control. We're not
Yeah.
in their control anymore, so we just keep doing our work, we just keep doing what we're supposed to be doing, while the other people that are trying to usurp what we are doing, they like they try to get it, but then they fall back down into the control mechanism of the system. And that's what I saw when it came to the whole Charlie Kirk and the blonde girl. Like all these people that have been meticulously following me for years, that have literally built their brands off of my work, their brands off of the blood, sweat, and tears that I have put into bringing about alignment, I mean, into forging the path that don't act like I even exist. They had their moment to lead
Yeah.
in this
Yep.
situation in this week. They
And they
had their
failed.
moment to lead, and instead they just yes, right. They just went. They bent the knee, and they just decided to be praised by the masses, which, you know, you're that's not the leader. The leader does not
Nope.
care about what the masses think of them. The leader does what he is told to do, and that's the positions that are still empty. The
Right.
positions, I mean, they're not even empty though, because we've taken the positions.
Right.
like
Right.
like because those
This is
positions have
energy
to be filled.
dominance
The thing
here.
is,
This is
yeah,
energy dominance here. This is not no play. I mean, this is very aggressive. Understand, this is aggressive language for me. I don't use language like this. This is
yeah, when you
definitely
sent it, I was like,
aggressive language for
yo,
me.
I
Very
was like, yo, am
aggressive
I
language
rubbing
for
off?
me.
I'm like, am I
Yeah,
rubbing off on her?
you
Because
are.
like
You are for sure.
this is
I
what
don't
I
talk
would
like
have
this.
written. This is what I would
I don't talk like this,
well,
but but
because
what
this
you
is how
said
it
was
is.
true. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
you're
and
right.
the thing is the like and like before years ago, I had the belief that like that we can elevate everyone. I had the
Mm,
belief that like everyone can be brought up, and I keep being shown that these positions have to be filled. Like
right,
the masses will not, they're not willing to elevate to a point where they can truly gain their sovereignty. As much as we might try, as much as we might build a system to help people gain their sovereignty, they humans have come here for a reason. And
right,
even though our system, obviously, that we're building is going to be one that is nourishing, that is empowering, that is to support in the elevation of the human being, they still got to go through their shit. You know, they still
right,
got to learn what they need to learn and what they got to go through. We have
right.
done the work to be the ones to bring forth this, as I call this, new world order. Like, So whether we want to have these positions or not, as you saw with the timekeeper, like as you saw with the calendar, like it's given to you. And
Right.
no one else can take it from you. No one else can tell you, "Oh, well, you got to do this." No, you know what you got to do and you're doing it to the best of your abilities, and that's why you've been put in this position to radically transform reality in a way that is in alignment. And guess what? Everybody is going to follow your calendar. That's just the way that it is. So, what does that mean for you? Well, that means that your position, you have to have a position. It means that
Right.
the system, the new system is going to exalt you to very, very high levels of influence, power, gravitas, just in general, like your gravitational pull. And you already, like, I mean, it's not like this is a new thing, obviously, but like you're really seeing it now in reality. And I think these next
Yeah.
60 days, it's with these worms, like what these worms, like, we have co-opted the system. So even if these worms are technically bad in some way, like every time I have dealt with what might seem bad, I turn it into good.
Right.
Anytime someone has stabbed me in the back, somehow, some way, I end up being better. So whatever machinations the system has put in place, whatever um, kind of emergency protocols they have put to, because right now the emergency lights are blaring. Like
The sirens
it's
going off.
yeah, the
Everybody's running
sirens,
around.
yeah, right. Everyone's
Somebody
freaking out. So
COVID. It's
emergency,
bad.
uh-huh. Right. So emergency after emergency after emergency protocols are being activated, and we are literally like Neo out here. Just
Right.
boom, 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 just taking out, taking out, taking out, taking out, alchemizing, alchemizing it. What are these worms gonna say when they go
They're
when
going to
they
give a
go to
good
the
account, so
gods, when they
they
go to the
they can
yeah,
give they can
right.
give a good account. So that would be the opposite of that. Instead of giving a bad account, they're going to give a good account. Like, wow, this person really cared about dot dot dot, and they really did this. I mean, you could have three
Yes,
positive witnesses,
yes,
which is
yes,
not the way. It's
yes.
not the way it's supposed to work. So that's why you were
Right,
like, oh, the
right.
parasites. Some of them are good. I still remember that and thinking, I never thought that some of them were good, but now I understand. Okay, they can actually be used for the positive, but a lot of people are not have not. They don't listen to their bodies, so they don't know like that's what they should do. That's why I have develop a product, because I'm like, people don't understand that, but they might understand this. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out where to reach the people where they will understand. Like somebody at Boston Tea for me, and she was like, "Oh my, you know who loves this? My daughter." I was like, "Oh really?" Because it's bitter, and I was like, "She likes bitter stuff. Like that's really unusual." So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna make her some smaller tea bags, because of course I would want children drinking
Mm,
this. You know what I mean? Of course, but I need to
right,
make
right.
I need to make a little bit smaller, because they have bitter melon in it, and bitter melon is quite bitter. It is not. It is one of the most unpleasant things for people who don't like bitter stuff like myself. It's like, oh god, like dandelion root and stuff like that. It's also burdock root. It's all bitter. And but specifically the bitter melon is really really tart, and if her daughter likes it, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make her some. You kidding me? We need all the kids we can doing this kind of like these kind of protocols, which is have a
Uh-huh,
glass
right.
of tea before you go to bed, a nice warm glass of tea with some herbs in it. And it's simple. Like my whole concept of all of this is that it should be simple. Everybody else is out there
Yep.
selling stuff that's so hard and so complicated with so many moving parts. And this does have it's very hard and complicated and has a lot of moving parts. But you don't have to understand all of them. All you got to do is drink this tea. Can you do that? Can you drink this tea?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like for you, can you speak out? Can you use your voice? And that's how I started like into this spiritual work, was like, I will, at least I can do energy reading. I